joining us. We are recording today's session. We will post the recording in the Perkins Microsoft team once the recording is available. So I'd like to give you an overview of what we will discuss in today's Q&A and give you some guidelines for how we'll take your questions, and then we'll get into those. So today we'll discuss the program of study requirements under the Perkins 5 legislation, as well as the reporting requirements through our office. We'll also talk about the Perkins closeout reimbursement report, which is due on August 30th. This is the closeout invoice for fiscal year 2021. We'll take just a moment to discuss the proper way to upload required reports in the Perkins team on Microsoft Teams. Many of you are very familiar with that, but we lots of times have new people come on board, so I just want to cover that. And then at the end of our Q&A session, Michael will share some information about our new hires who will be joining the Perkins team at the state level in the Office of Student Success, who will begin on September 1st. So let's begin with program of study. So since this is a Q&A session, as you have questions, please go ahead and start typing those into the chat. We'll also take time to pause here and there. If you'd like to unmute yourself and ask your question verbally, please do so. So with the program of study, under the Perkins 5 legislation, each recipient of Perkins funding must provide at least one CTE program of study approved by the state in order to be eligible for Perkins funding. So because of that requirement with the Perkins 5 legislation, our office asks that each recipient of Perkins funding provides documentation for at least one program of study each year. So I want to share with you the definition of a program of study, and this is copy and pasted straight from the Perkins 5 Act, just so that we can all see that together and answer any questions you may have about the definition of a program of study. So here it is. I won't read all of it, but I'll read the first part. So the term program of study means a coordinated, non-duplicated sequence of academic and technical content at the secondary and post-secondary level. And then there's 6 more requirements, right? Nothing simple with Perkins 5. So I won't read each one of those, but if you'd like to take a deeper dive and look more into the definition, you can find the Perkins 5 Act on the Files tab in our Perkins team. This is also included in the technical assistance video that was that's in our Perkins team, and that's included with the assignment materials. I will point out one item at the bottom, which is the program of study culminates in the attainment of a recognized post-secondary credential. Any questions so far on program of study? Again, feel free to type your questions in the chat or unmute yourself if you have a question. So because of that requirement within the Perkins 5 legislation, we ask that recipients of Perkins funding provide documentation of at least one program of study per year. So this should show the progression from secondary to post-secondary, and finally culminating in the attainment of a post-secondary credential. I'll show you a couple of examples. One example from a TCAT and one example from a community college. Another thing to mention about these samples is many of our required documentations with Perkins, we provide you with a specific template and we say, please complete this specific template. With program of study documentation, we're more flexible on that because we understand that many of our colleges have pre-existing documents that you guys already use, whether it be in marketing your programs to high school students or just incoming students. So you're welcome to use those. But I do want to show you just a couple of samples. We'll look at a TCAT sample first. This is from TCAT Knoxville. So you can see on the left, they have shown the secondary career cluster, business management and administration. The program of study at the secondary level is office management, and then they've listed the 4 courses here that are included in that program of study. Then moving on to the TCAT program of study, they've listed the requirements for the AOT program, Administrative Office Technology. And let me just say, for a TCAT, you could stop right here, and that would be the end of it. But TCAT Knoxville has taken it on to the next level, which is great, and we encourage this. And they've shown the transfer to a community college. So they've listed out the program of study for an associate's degree in business with a concentration in accounting, business office, or medical office. Any questions? Let me show you a sample from a community college. This program of study sample comes from Roane State Community College, and they have listed the secondary program of study for finance, accounting, or banking and finance. They've listed the courses required there. They've actually listed their dual credits that are available. Then they've shown the program of study for the Associate of Applied Science in Financial Services available at Roane State with the required courses there. And they've taken it one step further to show the program of study for a Bachelor of Science in Business with a concentration in finance at Tennessee Tech. Once again, there is no specific template that you're required to use as long as you're showing that progression from secondary to post-secondary, ending with a recognized post-secondary credential. Any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question verbally if you have one. Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. If you think of something, just type it in the chat or we can come back to you so you can unmute. Just a reminder, that program of study documentation is due by August 30th and should be submitted to the specific assignment in the Perkins team on Microsoft Teams. The closeout reimbursement report. This is the final closeout reimbursement report for the 2021 fiscal year. So this would be, I guess, any late invoices or anything that came in after that 4th quarter invoice was due. Also, again, please make sure you submit that to the specific assignment, to the closeout report assignment in Microsoft Teams, so that it's in the correct place so that I know where to look for that. And that's also due on August 30th. Once we receive those, our office will review those to make sure those requests were included and pre-approved in your grant application. And then we will submit those invoices onto the business office at TBR so that they can request reimbursement from Tennessee Department of Education. Questions on the closeout reimbursement report or the program of study? No. Okay. I do want to share one more thing. I want to show you the Perkins team. The Microsoft Teams has made a slight adjustment, and I actually just discovered this today. So previously, you would see tabs at the top for assignments, class notebook, which I don't use, but we do use assignments. You would see it at the top. They've just moved it to the left-hand side of your screen when you're in the Perkins team. So if you are just looking for that, you should be able to see it fairly easily on the left-hand side. Just a reminder, like I mentioned before, when you're submitting your documentation, please go to the specific assignment. So when you're on the general channel, and this should be the channel that automatically defaults to open when you open the Perkins team, you'll see the most recently posted assignments here in the general channel. So you would click on view the assignment. I won't click on mine because it'll show you the backstage view. It won't show you what you guys will see. But when you click on view assignment, you'll see brief instructions. You'll have a template listed there, possibly samples, and a technical assistance video. So all you do is just download the template, you fill in your information, and then you come back to that assignment and there's a button to upload your assignment. And then you'll be able to see that it's uploaded, and then you click turn in. I have had a few instances where colleges have submitted their reports under files. Please don't do that because I may or may not see it in time to meet the deadline, especially for reimbursement reports. So make sure you're submitting it to the specific assignment. And that's only been just a couple of times, and I try to check under files, but sometimes I just miss it before a due date. So submit it to the specific assignment. If you ever have trouble with the Perkins team in Microsoft Teams, I will say most of our TCATs have had no troubles with it because TBR system and TCAT system are somehow linked or integrated in Teams, but our external users, so our community college folks, have had some difficulties with Teams. If you ever have trouble, please just email me. I don't mind at all to send you the template by email or a sample by email. And if you can't get the assignment feature to work, you're welcome to just email it directly to me if you're having issues with Teams. Any questions, especially for our new folks who have just come on board as the Perkins contact on your campus? Any questions related to submitting assignments in Teams or finding documents in Teams? Boyd says if we don't have any additional expenditures for the reimbursement report, you do not need to resubmit the fourth quarter report. If you've already submitted reimbursement, invoices for all of your purchases, you're done. The closeout reimbursement report is just for any of those lingering invoices that didn't make that July 20th cutoff for the fourth quarter reimbursement report. Good question. Any other questions on program of study, reimbursement reports, or using the Perkins team in Microsoft Teams? No questions. Wow. Must have covered it. So Michael, I'll turn it over to you if you want to talk about our new hires.
Absolutely. Thank you. First of all, congratulations to Shayna, as she has now become the Director of Experiential Learning, as Joey Rich has moved on to Motlow State Community College. So Shayna will be taking over the helm, anything related to Skills USA. So as you have those questions or comments or want to do a deeper dive, Shayna is your individual. We are very fortunate to have two individuals come on to replace Shayna in the coordinator roles. We have two coordinators now. Shayna did that good of a job that we need two people to replace her. And so both those folks have post-secondary experience in Tennessee. One of them who I know who's on right now, JC Whitaker. She comes to us. She's already in the office technically in another role, but she'll be switching over to the coordinator role and heading up Perkins and MOA as well. And then also Daphne Brown, who's been at TCAP McKinsey for a long period of time. She will be coming over to the central office, and both of them will officially start in the coordinator role on September 1st. Both of them have experience, at least some anyway, within Perkins and or MOA. And so we'll be working with them extensively over the next year or so to to hone their skills in so they can become the new experts. Shane and I are still here. We're still available, and we will still be available if JC or Daphne or you have specific questions. We'll just make sure that they're looped in on those, and so that they can learn through the process as well, just as Shayna did when she came on board. So very excited about JC and Daphne. They're going to be a great addition to our office, and again, more support for the colleges. So congratulations to them, and you'll be seeing and hearing from them soon.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay, well, as always, if you think of something after this meeting, please feel free to reach out by phone or email to me or Michael. We'd be happy to answer your questions. Those items are due on August 30th, so you got about another, week and a half or so before those are due. If there are no other questions, that's all we have for you today. So thank you again for taking the time to be a part of this. I hope it has been a beneficial 15 minutes or so for you. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.